Welcome to the Talent and Skills Network. My name is Christian Eigner. We are here at the 13th Annual International Film Festival, Manhattan. We have a bunch of special guests with us. We just saw their film. It was amazing. It was deep, riveting. It was spiritual. I want to hear more. Can you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Ida Del Mundo, the director and writer of Never Forget.
My name is Mara Lopez. I'm the lead actress of Never Forget, and I play Vera.
Hello, I'm Chris Paul Morales, and I play Jhason in Never Forget.
All right, well, I saw the film. I actually have so many questions, some of which I've already asked you off camera, but I'm going to let you start. Why don't you tell me what your inspiration was for making the film? I know it's a heavy subject matter, so I'm going to let you put it in your words.
I used to be a journalist when I lived in the Philippines, and one of the things that I covered was the Escalante massacre, which happened during martial law in the Philippines, which is something that is still very relevant today, even over 50 years later. And I was really touched by what the people in Escalante do to reminisce or to remember and commemorate what happened during that time. And I decided to do a film about it that also incorporates Filipino-American identity, culture, history, and memory.
Thanks for that. So let's talk about the characters and how they help tell your story, okay? So first, I want to ask you kind of how each character fit in, and then I'll go to your actors to go a little deeper on that.
Sure. So there are three main characters. Pablo, the father, who has dementia, and he represents one generation of Filipinos who have immigrated to the U.S. And then we have Mara's character, Vera. She's a Filipino-American who identifies more as an American and doesn't know much about her history yet. And we have Jhason, who is a Filipino nurse, is undocumented, and is new in the city. So I wanted to show three different types of Filipinos who we usually find in the U.S. With their three characters.
Awesome. Yeah, you covered all the bases, and I'm going to go to you guys now. Can you remind us what your character was and how you got into character for the role? How you feel you relate to the character, that kind of thing.
So, Vera is a Filipino-American who, like Ida said, connects more to being American than Filipino, which is like the exact opposite, because I was basically raised in the Philippines and I identify more. I'm half Filipino, half Japanese, but I identify more Filipino than Japanese or American, because I was literally just born here in the US. So, to get into that character, I was lucky because I have a lot of cousins who are like Vera, basically born and raised in the Philippines, do not really speak Tagalog at all. And so kind of just seeing that and seeing how, whenever I hang out with them, I kind of feel very different just because I identify more as Filipino. So I think to get into the character of Vera, that's what I kind of was trying to connect to, how my family was, who was already born and raised here.
Awesome. Well, I loved the character. It was really, really good. So thank you for the insight. Let me go over here.
Much like Mara's character, Jhason was very much the opposite from me. Being born and raised in America, I had to get into the mindset of a Filipino that was coming to America, a new country, everything is new. And so like Mara, I have a lot of friends that have moved here from the Philippines. So it's just kind of there are certain things that we're different about. We feel different. We can get along, we can hang out, but there's just the experience of growing up in a different place that is different. And it was just getting into that mindset and really understanding where Jason's coming from when he moves to New York.
Sure, that makes sense. I definitely saw it come through the character, the work that you guys were doing there. And you had mentioned to me that you guys were kind of doing the opposite thing a little bit, opposite backgrounds, and then also some accent work. You're correcting each other a little bit. Can you fill us in on that dynamic for the viewers here?
I think the main thing, so he speaks he speaks Tagalog. Obviously he has an accent, kind of an American accent when he speaks Tagalog. But there's a word in Tagalog, it's po or opo, and it's kind of a word that you use when you're talking to someone elderly, someone you want to show respect to. So one of the main things that I remember was we were in the waiting area and I was teaching him the right placement of po and opo, because you can put that in any sentence, but he was like jumbling words. So I was like, okay, that's weird. Like, let's fix this.
That's pretty cool. You guys are able to help each other out like that. I'm going to go back over here. So, as a filmmaker, do you have any advice, words of wisdom for aspiring filmmakers?
All of the films that I do really have to do with what's important to me and what I think people have to hear. So my advice to young filmmakers or aspiring filmmakers is to tell significant stories, tell things, or make films that will be important to the viewers that will see your films.
That's solid advice. I like that. Thank you. Lastly, do you guys have any social media that you want to plug?
Sure. You can find me on Chris Paul Morales on Facebook, Instagram, whatever is on there. If you look up Chris Paul Morales, I'll be there.
You can find me on Instagram. It's Mara Lopez Y.
I'm on Instagram as well, IDA.oftheworld.
Awesome. Thank you guys for being here. And our slogan is good talent is hard to find, not anymore.